Welcome to the channel Public Speaking Tips. I am Distinguished Toastmaster Iskandar Mirza, a double DTM with 15 years of experience. In this channel, we shall bring to you selected speeches, public speaking, leadership and communication tips and educational sessions on various aspects of Toastmastering and public speaking. Please subscribe to this channel, like and share. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Is a double DTM. He is a DTM, he's a Toastmaster from last more than 2 decades, and he has worked in multiple countries. He hails from a city called as Mysore, and we lovingly call him Sher Mysore. With a tremendous round of applause. Let us welcome DTM Iskandar Mirza.
Thank you so much. Good evening to our Toastmasters and guests. I think we have a lot of guests today. And today we are going to have a panel discussion, and the topic of the panel discussion is global warming. Global warming. We have 3 distinguished panelists today. The first one is not only a distinguished panelist, he is also a distinguished Toastmaster, DTM Ram Gopal. He was the president of Sunshine Toastmasters Club, and he again is a banker. So I think today's theme goes with him. I think he has 29 days in 30 days of a month as those spent day. So please welcome And the second panelist we have, human flows in his blood. I think what else flows, I don't know. He is one of the most senior Toastmasters with our club, and he's not a charter member but very old and staying with the club, I think from 2004 if I'm right.
That will be discussed
Okay. So, and he is also a distinguished Toastmaster. Please welcome distinguished Toastmaster Zulfikar Akram to the And the third panelist we have today is a very enlightened personality, a very popular figure in Bangalore. She is running a women orphanage, and she is also very active in a political party. She is general secretary of that, and she joined our club 2 years back, and presently she is the vice president education. And it's because of her efforts that we got this venue, and we are ever thankful to her for that. So please welcome Toastmaster Shima Hussain. So before getting into the discussion, I'd like to tell you some rules about the panel discussion. Number one is we'll be asking some questions which will be common to all of them. I'll be asking some questions, and they'll have 2 to 3 minutes to answer them. It's like 10 topics each. And secondly, before that I'll be giving a preview. There is nothing wrong if they quote each other. If they quote me also, they can freely quote. There is nothing wrong with it. Number one. Number two, there is nothing called right or wrong. If my opinion and 2 other panelists' opinion is different, and if the third one has a different opinion, there is nothing wrong. He can put forward his opinion. It's fine with it. Thank you. Fine. And there are no winners, no losers in this. It's just a discussion. It's a friendly discussion. So anybody can put forward whatever thoughts they have about the question that I may be asking. And at the end, we will have a few questions. We'll take few questions from the audience, and they can be answered by me or by any of the panelists. Okay? And before getting into the topic, I'd like to put some light on the topic. Maybe I'll take a few minutes for that. I'd like to stand up for that. The Earth, the age of the Earth is 4.8 billion years. Okay, it was going on. Everything fine, everything settled, nobody was fingering the atmosphere or the environment. Then began the advent of human beings. And according to some theories, human beings came on this earth maybe some 30,000 years or 40,000 years or 70,000 years ago, or maximum 100,000, 1 lakh years ago. That's it. But the damage that we have done to the environment, the damage that we have done to the world, the damage that we have done to the earth is no way comparable to anything, because none of the animals or fish or birds have done any damage to the environment. It's only we who have brought the damage. We have changed the courses of river, we have played with the environment, we have cut down the forests, and we have limited the space available for animals to roam around. The forests have been shrinking every year, despite all the alert that we have and all the forest reserves that we have and everything that we do to stop this, but still money speaks. And it is only human beings who have brought in a lot of trouble, a lot of damage to the Mother Earth. And this all started when we talk about global warming or climate change. The reference point is 1800 BC, AD, because the industrialization, the industrial revolution started after. After that, we started using fossil fuel and all those things. And from then till now, let me give you some figures. The world temperature has risen by 0.9 degrees centigrade. And we are seeing the disaster at this level. So the scientists and the world leaders are trying to limit it to a maximum of 1.5 degrees, it should not cross that. Now, what are the bad effects of that? Because the temperature is increasing, our ice reserves in Atlantic, in Arctic Ocean and Atlantic Ocean, the ice shelf is melting. So as the ice shelf melts, the level of water in the oceans increase, and that may inundate some of the islands and even some of the coastal cities. Calcutta is on the verge of getting submerged. Now, whether the alarm is real or not, that I'll ask these people, let them tell me. So let us go ahead with the panel discussion. Now, the first question to our dear we can repeat each other, no problem. We can use the same points as told by me or him or her or whatever. And I'll reverse the order for every question. The first question that I have for you, because I want to go in this order. The threat of global warming and climate change, is it real or perceived? You have 2.5 minutes.
Thank you very much for having me for this program. In the evening, one of my friends phoned me and said the global warming has become a very serious problem. So much so that one of the panelists has dropped out. and then I have to step in. I think the problem of global warming is real. Whether it is real or not, if anybody has a doubt, I think they should go to the islands, the low-lying areas which are going underwater. I think many islands have already disappeared. This is because of global warming and rise of sea level. The glacier ice is melting and it is flowing into the ocean, and the ocean levels are increasing and the low-lying areas are going underwater, and this is something real we are witnessing. And if you doubt, then you have to go and stay in one of those islands and experience it yourself by going underwater. Now, there are contradictions. There is a raging debate about the impact, the effects of global warming. The rich countries which are contributing to this crisis, this serious problem, say that it is all being created by certain scientists and certain vested interests who want to slow down their progress, their growth. But if you see, they are contributing 90% of the emissions, the carbon emissions that lead to global warming, and they are not ready to reduce the emissions. They are not ready to sign any treaties, any agreements. They are happy as they are. But what they are spewing out, what they are releasing, what they are emitting is impacting people in some other part of the world. It is like today your neighbor's house is on fire and you think you will be unaffected. Nothing is going to touch you. But very soon that fire will catch your whole house. And that is the seriousness of this problem. So people have been misled by these vested interests, the big industrialists. They just are focusing on developing their economy, leading a luxurious life, and they have no concern for the planet and for the humanity. And you see, in the last few years, so many species of animals and birds have become extinct. Why it is happening? And recently, Bangalore witnessed no rainfall for almost how many months? 4 months. And now suddenly you have rainfall. And we don't know, there will be flooding soon. Low-lying areas in Bangalore city will go underwater. It's all because of global warming and climate change. So we are witnessing it. It is real and for us to see and be concerned about.
Thank you. Can you pass on the question to Toastmaster?
Moderator and fellow Toastmasters, it is as real as the earth itself. This problem was not existing earlier, in the sense there was warming of the earth happening. But as the moderator has also pointed out, the industrialization that happened about 100 years back, that has fastened the pace of greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect, wherein what happens is when we are burning the fossil fuels, whether it is petroleum or the natural gas, it emits certain kind of gases in the atmosphere, like methane, water vapor, fluorocarbons, or CFC, as well as all these and methane. And these gases, what they do is, let me explain it in a very simple form. The radiation comes from the sun. The sun rays fall on the earth. If you say about 100 units of the sun rays, if they fall on the earth, 70% of it is absorbed by the earth, which is necessary for the sustenance of this earth. 30% of it has to be reflected back into the space. But what happens is, these greenhouse gases, they do not allow this to happen. They absorb this heat. And they also emit their other heat on their own. So the temperature of our globe, our earth, is rising. So this is a matter of concern for everybody, whether it is a developing country or an underdeveloped country. It is a matter of concern because, after all, when anything such a situation happens, you see 0.9% Celsius, the temperature of the earth has increased. And they say that it is going to increase further in another, in 2100. I have a report here. It says it will increase to, the global warming is 1.5 Celsius to 2 degrees Celsius presently. In 100 years time, it will be 3.3 degrees Celsius to 5.7 degrees Celsius. We have experienced the Bangalore heat, and Delhi is now experiencing what it has never, that kind of heat any time in the history of Delhi or in the history of Bangalore. Where it does not have rained, it is raining heavily. The glaciers are melting, the sea level is increasing, the areas are getting flooded, and those coastal areas, you are talking about Calcutta, we are going to witness, even Mumbai is also going to go under the waters very soon, unless something is to be done seriously to check this global warming and the climate change. Flora and fauna are getting affected. Very soon we will have some of the species which will disappear from the face of the earth. So each of us have to contribute in bringing down this global warming so that we can save our planet, and in the interest of the health of our planet, we have to do it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shima. Can I have the opinion of DTM Ramu?
The major cause of global warming is greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases are carbon dioxide, ozone, methane, and as Madam said, it is fluorocarbon, CO2. What happens is that when the sunlight falls on the earth, the part of it which she said 30% is reflected. But unfortunately, it doesn't go into the atmosphere. The greenhouse gases, especially carbon dioxide, it blocks this. They are actually infrared rays which are being reflected from the earth back to the atmosphere, and these greenhouse gases, they capture that, and they capture it in the form of heat, and it is distributed into the atmosphere. Because of that, there is global warming. Because of global warming, there is tremendous change in the weather. So what is happening is, weather, it is not only it is affecting weather in almost all parts of the world. The 4 seasons, that is spring, summer, autumn, winter, it is changing, and even the flowers, fruits, and the things that are being that come on a certain period, it is not coming, it is getting deferred. You must all, the famous saying in Bangalore is April showers and May flowers. This time there was no rain, no showers in April, and we have not seen May flowers till date. So this is what is happening. And even some of these flowers, which flower at the bottom of the hills, because of the global warming, they go much higher, and they are able to flower only at a higher levels. So global warming and climate change is going to cause tremendous damage to our own earth and our own people. And one more thing is, because of the global warming because of that, the air becomes very dry and the earth becomes very hot. Because of that, you are getting forest fires. And if you have seen in Uttarakhand, there are tremendous forest fires which is uncontrollable by human hand. Until and unless the showers come, giving rain comes, it is not being controlled. It is uncontrollable. But the unfortunate trend that has happened in the recently, because we had elections, the forest staff is very minimal. But unfortunately, these forest staff with very limited resources, they were taking care of the forest. But the forest department has written a strong letter to the administration not to depute any of these people to election work. But unfortunately, the state machinery has taken them out from the forest and deployed them for the election work, and because of that, we have more damage done to the forest.
Thank you so much. And in fact, all the 3 panelists believe the threat is very much real. And whereas DTM Zulfikar told islands are disappearing and rich countries are not implementing steps to control global warming and green gases effect and all those things, greenhouse gases effect. And whereas Toastmaster Shima, she also spoke about greenhouse gases and that these gases absorb the heat, they don't reflect it back to the environment. CFC. Third thing, I think similar was told by DTM Ram Gopal. He also told about the same greenhouse gases and April showers and May flowers. He had put it in a very good way. Actually, all the 3 panelists did not tell us where CFC is coming from. It is coming from our houses, the sprays and the perfumes that we use and the ACs. I think we use fuel and all. Fuel. Petrol and fuel and all. Daily uses water. ACs and everything. All those things. ACs and even agriculture. Even agriculture contributes to greenhouse gases. This is one I just wanted to tell from my side. Are we at our individual levels trying to control these things? 90% of the new buildings that are coming in Bangalore have glasses, which increase the temperature because the sunlight is rushing back on the road and the temperature increases. Everyone knows, but architects design what the customer wants. That's it. So, in effect, according to our all panelists, the threat is very much. Now, there is an organization, a worldwide United Nations organization, which is called UNFCCC, United Nations Framework for Convention on Climate Change. And this has 197 countries as its members. I think every year we can just bomb the chairs and have coffee and go off. Because whatever the suggestions are there, they are hardly being implemented because somewhere the economic interests overrule the concern for our Mother Earth. So let me ask my question. The first respondent will be Master Sheila. Are the measures that are being taken by different countries and United Nations, are they half-hearted or are they serious in implementing?
When we talk about United Nations, and there's another panel called Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC. It was formed in 1988 and by World Meteorological Organization and United Nations Environment Program. They realize that what is happening is real. There are climate scientists who work on it and they produce the data, and they have come up with various proposals as to how to avoid this climate change and global warming. But what is actually happening is, yes, there is vested interest out there. There are many corporations who have to be who fund the political parties, and the governments do not want to bring about. All that is there in place. But it is a real threat. It's a concern. But to avoid this, they require a lot of money. To see that if you are going to go for some alternative energy, we are not going to use the fossil fuels like petroleum and natural gas, gasoline and all that. To go for an alternate this one, it requires money. And who is going to fund that? And then, okay, which countries maybe in the process they can go and shift on and take on to some other alternative energy form. But what about the poor developing countries? And where did the technology come from? So the actual problem is implementation. But it is not that you can't rule out that you cannot implement. If you have a mind to do so, maybe something may work out. But as of now, they had a Paris conference also in the year 2015, wherein they have said that the temperature of the earth should not exceed 1.5 and should be reverted back to the pre-industrial period. And this will be communicated to all the countries, and many of the countries are member countries of, and they have, it is an obligation on them to follow this, whatever the directions are given by the scientists. But how far they can implement it is the question, and where are the resources coming from, and how will they able to implement those things, and where is the technology coming from? All this is another question.
Are the measures being implemented seriously or half-heartedly by various countries?
Neither being implemented seriously nor half-heartedly, I feel is totally being ignored. Because the major concern is burning of fossil fuels, which is industrialization and automobiles, the transportation, including not only land transportation, the sea transportation, and also air transportation, which is lavishly being used in the advanced countries, especially the Western countries. Because of that, there is a tremendous amount of carbon dioxide is released into the air, and carbon dioxide, that is one of the major green gases. It is what is responsible for global warming and climate change.
Okay, go ahead.
And the unfortunate thing is, the G7, G20, United Nations, so many people talk, they have a nice meeting between now and then, there is a meeting, people talk, but implementation is almost zero, I can say. Most of the pressure is thrust on the developing countries, poor countries, and developing countries, and the advanced countries go scot-free. Unless there is a mind change from the Western countries, or the poor and developing countries can really exercise their strong influence on the advanced countries and stop them follow the rules, it becomes very difficult to control the global warming. As Madam already said, it is 1.5 degrees centigrade that the earth temperature is rising, and they wanted to bring it to pre-industrialization time, which is hardly about 1 degree centigrade. So if people can really do that, our efforts and the people in general, people all over the world will deal the consequences and be happy with that.
Thank you. DTM
While I agree with my co-panelists, I want to take a different view of government itself. I think it was Mahatma Gandhi who said the earth has enough to provide for the needs of everybody, but it cannot meet the greed of human beings. So there is wanton destruction of our natural resources. Now where is that pressure coming from to destroy these natural resources? I think we have failed to not even just slow down, stop the population explosion. There is tremendous pressure on natural resources. Now there are three levels of living. The first one is survival, the second is comfort, and third is luxury. So tell me, how many of you sitting here will settle for bare survival? Everybody wants to live a luxurious life. Consumerism has caught up. Materialism is the name of the game. So who has concern for nature? Forests are being cut, natural resources are wantonly consumed without a thought being spent for what is going to happen to nature, to Mother Earth. So we fail to understand that the relationship between Earth and us is of umbilical cord. We are connected to Earth like we are connected through an umbilical cord. We are cutting that umbilical cord. And leave alone living in luxury, one day you will not be able to survive if you cut that umbilical cord. So what is needed? Now I think first of all we have to be aware of the dangers, and then we have to start thinking of what steps to be taken. I think we have reached a stage where some of these destructive tendencies that we have cannot be stopped just like that. And whatever damage we have done already, I also think is irreversible. But still, it's not that everything is lost. We still have some hope. Where do you start from? I think we have to start from our individual level. Are you all prepared to reduce use of cars? How many of you cannot come out without taking out your car? In India, population has increased, and so also the number of cars. Obviously, cars don't run on water or air. Fuel is being used. So consumerism. So we don't want to compromise on our lifestyles. We just want to see, in fact, fight to get as much luxury as we want. But whom are you fighting with? We are fighting with each other. And we say, we blame the government. What is government? We are the government. We elect the government. We decide the policies. And as responsible citizens of the country, I think we can raise a voice against the government if it is taking some wrong decisions. If it is not taking steps that are necessary for our own safety, for our own survival. Are we raising a voice? In fact, we have reached a stage of so much luxury that we are not willing to come down. We are still looking at those Western countries, those rich countries, where we want to adopt a lifestyle that is being followed there. So we are raping them, we are following them. We say we are still an underdeveloped country, we are a developing country. And we say we want to be a developed country. How we are developed? By contributing more to the damage that is being done by these developed countries. So one day, you will all come to realize that our life is at stake here. Our future generations will not be able to see what we are seeing now. Either you will see maybe videos and you will not know how to walk, how to run, because your bodies are so much accustomed to the luxuries that there is a slowdown in your metabolism, in your physical activity. Then you will get used to these robots. Now already everybody is talking about artificial intelligence. Now what is going to happen to our intelligence? I think our intelligence being used for developing artificial intelligence. And at what cost? Our own cost. I think I have exceeded my time, but I still have a lot to say. Come back.
I still have enough to ask. Now we were talking about islands submerging and water level rising and all those things. But it's not the first time that such things have happened. We know that off Gujarat there was an island called Dwarka, which is now under the sea. And parts of Bangladesh and parts of Assam were once under the sea and now they have come over. And there was so much talk about a hole in the ozone layer. We did nothing. nothing the scientists did, nothing the countries did, but the ozone layer, ozone hole is now almost it is repaired by nature. So my next question is starting from KM Ram Gopal. You're the first person. Now, Earth has a self-curing and a self-repairing abilities. So much of alarm that we are having nowadays, is it necessary? Will the Earth not repair itself?
Earth doesn't have unlimited resources to set right the wrong that has already been done. For example, you can do a little bit to reverse the change. Say, for example, when you talk about the light, you can, people, of course, we have switched over from incandescent lamp to CFL. From CFL, we have switched over to LED lamps. So they say when you use fluorescent lamps, you save a lot of energy. And second is the major cause for concern is the burning of fossil fuel, or as my panelist said, vehicles. The use of vehicles emits a lot of gases, which is becoming greenhouse gases and making a damage to the earth. And then you have what is when you think the nature, what is happening is people are recklessly cutting off the trees. When you cut off the trees, there is not much of prevention that you can do. It is bound to get affected by floods. The other thing is, it is affecting agriculture. They say it is affecting because, for example, even 20 years back when I was working in a rural branch, they said goats are not banned from rearing goats. They can rear sheep, but not goats. Because the reason given was the way the sheep eat the grass, it eats the top layer, whereas the goat eats it right from the base. They said because of that, goat rearing is banned. So, like that, when you think about some of the damages that has already been done because of that. One more thing is that is the global warming or the climate change. It is affecting education. I was just wondering how it can affect education. Because the way it affects education is when there are floods, when there are heavy rains, naturally the schools get closed. Because of that, the education gets affected. And then some of the river basins are going dry. Because of the cutting of the trees, and because of that, the basins are getting dry. Because there is not much of water flow into the country. And last but not the least, it is affecting the livelihood of many people. Some of the villages in the worst drought affected villages, people have migrated from the villages and gone on to places where water is readily available. These villages are being known as ghost villages. So there, a lot of garbage is collected because of the tremendous heat. It catches fire, and that it also leads to a lot of fire.
Thank you so much. And the same question I will put to Earth has self-curing properties. So I think the alarm is little exaggerated. There is a real threat, but the alarm is little exaggerated.
I think if you look at the Earth's history, of course it has capacity to self-cure, self-repair. But it is also like saying when your house is on fire, just wait and watch for the fire to extinguish on its own. So are you not going to act if your house is on fire? I just want to give a very simple example. All of you went through something that was terrible. The pandemic experience. So when pandemic struck us, why did you panic so much? Why did you start making vaccines? You should have waited for the virus to go on its own. We have our own capacity to self-repair, self-cure. So I am talking at a micro level, at our level. If you are sick, if you are affected with something that is damaging, that is affecting your health, we do not act or we will wait for the body to self-cure. Similarly, it is about the macrocosm, which is the earth. The damage is being done. It will not die immediately. There is a slow death. When I say death, I am talking about not the lifeless things, but the life. Look at those people who have died in those landslides, people who have died of floods, people whose homes have been submerged and their land has disappeared underwater. So you think they have second life, and you think you have a second life? Same way, earth also doesn't have a second life, but it is dying a slow death. Some people are experiencing the pain, but others are not. But this is a global phenomenon. It is not a phenomenon that is happening in some part of the world. I say the world is spherical. What goes around comes back to harm you. If you think that you have emitted something, you have put out some poison in the air, and somebody else is getting affected, the same poison will come back and harm you one day. So you have to be aware of how the law of karma catches up. I think if you are not aware of law of karma, you have to be conscious. I think we are all spiritual beings, we are physical beings, and we are very much part of this living earth. So if you think that earth is different from you, then you are thinking that you are safe. But you cannot go to some other planet, you cannot escape to some other planet. You have to live here, and live here healthy, happy and long, not only for yourself but for the entire humanity, not only for entire humanity, for the entire living being or the life that exists on this earth.
Thank you, thank
So,
you.
are we responsible? Is our behavior responsible? Is the question.
Thank you, Dean Zulfikar. And can I pass on the same question to Toastmasters?
In the 19th century, there was a scientist by name Malthus, and he predicted that the rate at which the population of on the earth is growing, to meet that need, the earth is not producing so much of agriculture. So it is a linear growth that is happening. And he predicted that by 1930, the man will eat man because they will not have enough food to eat. And that is how the earth will be extinct. But that didn't happen because something called green revolution took place. And it started growing much because the land was not expanding, but human race was expanding. But we learned how to grow at that level where we could sustain the entire. Look at the example of Japan. In the World War II, Hiroshima and Nagasaki was born. They said Japan is over, they will not sustain, they cannot come back. But now it is one of the world powers. So nature does have the capacity to repair, to cure itself. But then, we human beings cannot leave it completely for the nature to do it. Just like the Japanese, they imported the soil from the other countries so that they could remove this radioactive soil from their nation. They built on it. We also, human beings, too, because of the bad work that we have done, because of our activities which has led to this kind of a situation where we are sitting here and having a panel discussion on global warming and climate change, it is a matter of concern for all of us. So let us do our bit. We will leave the rest to the nature to do it, because I am sure we cannot do everything to remove the damage that we have done. The damage is extensive. But nature, as the ozone layer has repaired itself, it will also find out some ways how it can sustain the life on earth. But we should do our bit because we owe it to our children, to our future generation. So we cannot wait because we don't even know how long the time span is for the cure of this earth to happen. So let us do our bit.
Thank you so much. And now let me tell you a summary about the last two questions. The last question was whether the measures are half-hearted, and Toastmaster Shima told that rich countries are not implementing that because of their economic interest. And D.T.M. Ram Gopal told, forget implementing, they are being ignored. And he also spoke about the gas, G20, G7, they simply meet, have coffee and go off, have a good winner. The implementation part, according to him, is zero. Now coming to DTM Zulfikar, his view was different. One more question. And he quoted Mahatma Gandhi and he told about the population and all those things. Now coming to the last question, whether the Earth has self-healing properties or not. The first respondent, DTM Ramgopal, he says no. Because the damage that we are doing to the Earth is beyond self-repair. And DTM Zulfikar, his opinion is that if your house is burning, you cannot wait for it to douse itself. So something urgent has to be done. We cannot wait for the Earth to repair itself. And Toastmaster Shima believes yes. Because in 19th century, some scientists had predicted that there will not be enough food for people, but there was so much scientific development in agriculture, in production of grains and all that, we are meeting to them. So there are possibilities that we have to prepare. Now the final question for all the three. When we talk about greenhouse effect, greenhouse gases and global warming and all, we are coming up with some alternatives like nuclear energy, for example, instead of using gas turbines or diesel generators, we are using nuclear technology. And when it comes to automobiles, we are thinking of electrical vehicles. But again, to produce electricity, again we have to use fossil fuel. Somewhere, I don't think, according to my opinion, that electric vehicles are a viable alternative, because somewhere you are using fossil fuel or whatever it is, unless it is nuclear power. So I just want to know your opinions on whether the alternative energy that we are talking about, the methods that we have, are they really effective or more needs to be done about it?
I think by talking like this, we are fooling ourselves. It's like we are not prepared to change our lifestyle. So to continue to sustain the current lifestyle, we want to look at alternatives. So the alternatives will come from nature itself, and whatever is created will remain in this planet. On this planet, it will not escape. So it will come back and haunt us one day. Don't think I am a doomsday predictor. I think we have to stop playing God. We have only one earth, and we have to have a long-term plan to take care of this beautiful earth that is life itself for us. Well, people not think, I agree that all these medicines, the cures for the diseases that we have discovered, they are all very good. But what are the side effects? Look at the side effects. So anything that we create will have side effects, and the effects will be here in this planet, okay? They will not go away. So are we all, a simple question to you all is, are you willing to lead a simple lifestyle? One philosopher said, simple living, high thinking. Everybody is now talking about organic food. When I was a kid, you would get groundwater, if you take a well, maybe 100 feet. Today, borewells are going as 2,000 feet down, and still you are not getting. So what is happening? So you think the water that is, the table that is gone down will automatically rise and it will be available to you. The rivers that have dried up, you think they will get replenished on their own. So you are only looking at alternatives because you want to pursue your luxurious lifestyle. You say no compromise on this, but everything else has to change. So whether it is nuclear energy, what are the side effects of nuclear? There is an accident, thousands of people will die in one accident. Solar energy, what I don't know, I am not a scientist, but I think very soon they will find out the side effects of using too much of solar energy. So whatever nature has created for us, it is being done with a design by the divine. So don't play the God, don't try to alter what is being created, don't try to bring in too much of artificial intelligence, so that one day it will go out of control. It will become a Frankenstein monster, and that will catch up with you, that will destroy you. And you are sitting on a time bomb. You are giving different names to these time bombs, alternative sources you are calling, but time bomb is going to burst one day and you will all be dead. Then you may say there will be a new generation of people. Who has seen that? Your own life is important to you. Take care of it.
Thank you so much. And first, Master Shima.
When we are talking about alternators, it is not for me and you to talk about it because we are not the scientists. The scientists are at their job. And since the time we made the wheel or discovered the fire, there has been progress that is happening. And this progress will continue to happen. Just because we have got a situation, we are in a situation, and the situation now, the threat is real, we cannot leave away from the development. Development also has to happen. Let us look at the alternatives. The solar cars are coming up, solar panels are coming. Some other form of alternative energy which will not give this kind of residue, like whatever these green gas kind of residues which are more harmful. Something else will come out. But let us also do our bit. Something has to be done from the government side. Maybe government can shut down on the, or not renew the factories, or not allow permission for opening new factories, or not allowing automobiles to be, so many of them to be purchased. And we at our family level also let us restrict to buying one vehicle. And let us think of taking bicycles or short distance, walking and going, or even carpooling, or taking public transport. I mean, something needs to be done. Completely we leave away and then we say that after having enjoyed this kind of lifestyle, to go back and say that, oh, we'll do 100 years back like how our forefathers lived. It is not practical. It's simply not practical. We may do it for a day or two, but again we will go back to it saying that somebody will do, we cannot do, we cannot manage with us. So the government has to do its bit. We our side also have to do our bit. Maybe as my co-panelist was talking about electric bulb, if at all we can stop using electric bulb and can use fluorescent bulb, which will radiate less amount of carbon into the atmosphere. We should do it. If we can recycle things and use it in our own house, so maybe we are not spending so much on parcel packaging and so much on other waste that are being generated in the atmosphere, the environment. So let us do our bit. Let the government also do a little bit on its own, and let the scientists also do their bit. So maybe that kind of a holistic kind of approach is what is needed, and it has to be done.
Thank you so much,
So regarding you talked about the cars switching over to electric vehicles. But again, electric vehicles also initially you may feel that it is not emitting any gases like the fossil fuel petrol vehicles or diesel vehicles. But the life of an electric battery in a car is maximum 5 years or even less than that. But after that, the kind of waste that is going to be generated is something beyond our comprehension. But even in the automobile section, now you are getting hybrid cars, which is partly electric, which is partly fuel, which is automatically each one charges itself. And there is for that particular battery in that hybrid cars, you do not have to plug into an electric socket. As you run on the fuel, that battery gets charged and you are able to run your car for a much longer distance. And of all the motor companies, Toyota Motors, the gentleman, the executive, the top executive of Toyota Motors, he is totally against electric vehicles. They have not brought even a single electric vehicle, nor did they advertise that they are going to bring electric vehicles. Then regarding after that, the solar energy, what we are talking about. Again, I feel the consequences, we do not know what is it is going to be. After solar energy, will it have any later effect on ourselves? That we are not very sure. What we can do is, some of the packages that is coming, when a small thing is to be packed, a lot of things goes into packing that, especially if it is to be transported to a longer distance, there is more package. Because the packaging also affects the climate change. They say by using very hot water, you are unnecessarily consuming more electricity, and to avoid that, they say try to use less of hot water and take bath. And then they say you need to adjust the thermostat of your ACs and also for your heaters. Because heater, we are not very familiar with heater for controlling the weather in South India, because we don't experience that kind of heat. Where in some of the countries like Canada and all, you need heaters. But again, they say you may need it, becomes mandatory in winter time. But again, they say try to adjust the thermostat and bring it down so that you consume less. And then the major thing is that you need to plant more trees. That is what can really change the weather for the better. And then another thing is, many people in the houses, in the offices, they put on the fans and they go away. Nobody bothers to switch it off when they're off the table or anything like that. They say when you can switch off such things, the lights, the fans, when you're going out, these things can definitely help you control the climate change. Even in automobiles, they tell you to keep the tire pressure correct. If it is correct, it runs more miles, gives you more mileage. In that way also, you'll be saving fuel.
Thank you so much. And in summary, PKM Zulfikar feels alternatives. Okay, why are you searching for alternatives? Because you don't want to change your lifestyle. So you don't want to compromise. If you are not getting what you want from fossil fuel or electricity, you look for some alternatives like solar energy or whatever. And please stop playing God, and you have to, everything has side effects, and take to cycling. I hope for the next meeting, Rutika will come on bicycle.
She said, I'm ready.
And Toastmasters Shima, she told development has to continue because of concerns for global warming and all. It cannot stop. Development will continue, it has to continue because it affects the livelihood of many people and the lifestyle. We cannot put an end to this, but we have to go ahead with alternatives if fossil fuel and things like that are harming the earth. And according to our DTM Ram Gopal, he focused only on electric vehicles, and he told when we have to replace the battery, it's very difficult to dispose of the battery, lithium battery and all. It's a hazard to the ground also. It's very difficult to treat it also. And he was right in that, and he put some light on hybrid cars, which are somewhat better. And he appreciated Toyota company for not using it. And maybe in future we'll have solar cars as per him. And now I'll come to the total summary later on. Let us open the floor for questions. We take only 4 questions. We are running out of time from the audience.
Despite the serious discussion we have had, I was told that global warming started the day Rajnikant lost his cool. What is your opinion about that?
So that's a joke. Let us have serious questions.
Who is Rajnikant? Okay, anything serious?
Any serious question?
Any serious concerns that you have? Let it be a question, not an input. Let it be a question. We are here to answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so can we?
Which panelist you want?
Yes.
I don't know about this.
Anybody, yes, you can call anyone of the panelists can.
Okay, you can answer my question.
Depending on the question. Yeah.
Okay, depending on the
What's your question?
Okay, my question is very simple. Can we discuss some of the action to control this global warming in India especially? Like we discussed more of outside countries, foreign countries, what?
I'll answer the question.
Okay, what we are doing?
The best example you have is in Bangalore city itself, where we are giving incentive and also forcing new household. If you want a new electrical connection, you must have solar heater installed on your house. So as a result, Bangalore is having the largest number of solar heaters anywhere in India, probably anywhere in India. This is one thing, and the second thing is, if you have gone to Kochi, the entire Kochi airport is powered by solar energy, and these things are coming up, and steps are being taken. There are positive steps, so we cannot totally say that the governments are not doing anything. Governments are going their part, but again, we as public, even we have to be responsible and try to minimize the use of ACs and CFCs. Okay, any other question? Yeah.
to distinguished Toastmaster speaker.
Now, he was telling that.
Details of figure.
Yeah. So he was telling that the economics has taken precedence over the welfare of our environment. So that means doomsday prophets, what they predict about our earth, it's going to happen. So how we can prevent that? Because these global powers, they are not going to cut down their emissions and all.
Yes.
But now, to what extent we can go? How we can control that? Any point of view on that? Suggestions?
I think there is a lot of work being done already. Some of my co-panelists and the moderator himself said there are alternative sources of energy that can be explored. But for me, it starts from you and me. What is that I am prepared to do now to change my lifestyle? This is like I just want to go back to the same analogy of my house being on fire. When my house is being on fire, I am discussing what to use to douse the fire. Whether to use electricity or to use solar energy. But what I am saying is, you cannot run away from this house that is on fire. You really need to find a way to put out this fire, and all of us have to put our heads together and ensure our own survival. Now, you are asking me how United States of America can be stopped. That is the crux of the matter. United States of America will destroy the rest of the world first, and then it will go underwater. So this is my prophecy. But if it does not happen immediately, it will happen after 100 years. Within United States of America, there are lots of groups that are resisting, that they are opposing the government policies. They are taking to the streets. There are protests, and they have given up their lifestyles that they had a few decades ago. And now they are coming to this understanding that simple living and high thinking is what is required. And what is this high thinking I am talking about? I am talking about peace, happiness, harmony, love for nature, safety of others, protection of everything that is around us that is precious to us. This is what is high thinking. But we are talking about consumerism. What is consumerism? We want the best that we can give to ourselves. We are not good enough, we are not equipped enough to do that. 140 crore population. You see the disparity, you see the lifestyle of poor people living in the villages and the lifestyle of 10% of the population in the country. So, your question is basically directed at that 10% of the population. So, unfortunately, I don't belong to that 10%. I belong to the 90% of the population. Somebody said you start walking. I can start walking, but this 10% of people who are using cars will crush me under the cars one day. So I am worried about my own survival to come out and walk on the streets. You see what is happening now. So, and what happens next? They will go and crash the cars against another car and kill themselves. That is going to happen.
Thank you so much, and I think we are not in a position to take more questions. And in a nutshell, the thing is, as per our own panelists and all the discussion that we had, rich countries are doing it half-heartedly, and they are trying to put the burden on the poor countries. Even poor countries, they don't have the resources to go for alternative energy or arrest the use of fossil fuel, number one. And number two, the earth, although it has the properties of self-repair, but there is urgent need for us to do something about it. And at the government level, even at the government level, things are being done, but not so much as it has to be done. And thank you so much, panelists, and I'm really indebted for you for all the inputs, the valuable inputs that you, lady and gentlemen, have given you. And thank you for the audience for having so much of patience to bear with us. With that, thank you all. Over to the Toastmasters.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Continue till the end of the talk.
So let us give a thundering round of applause to the panel moderator.